Hello everybody and welcome back to another Community Fortress. This is the Fortress of InkWheel and it was sent in to the show on the Discord by Diphyllum, I think is how you say that. If you would like to send in a fortress for me to have a look at on this show, you can simply jump into my Discord and join the DF Save sharing room. And then in that room, just simply copy what other people are doing, and I'm sure you can figure it out. For this fortress, I just want to warn some people who maybe are sensitive to spoilers. As we get further down to the bottom of the fortress, there is some dig too deeply and greedily secret spoilery stuff that you will be seeing towards the end. However, that's not going to happen until the end of the actual episode of this show, so you're safe until I let you know when we hit the lower layers. But for right now, we're going to dive in. So this is a very large surface fort with a bunch of cool constructions and a lot of interesting underground stuff too. So it's going to take a little bit of working through. But if we jump in here, we jump up to the surface. This is kind of our surface for the Fortress of InkWheel. Now, InkWheel is a mountain home, meaning they have completed everything that can be completed in the video game. There's this little entryway right here with some doors on either side, cage traps all the way in to catch things that, wish to do damage to the fortress. Then down here we have, these beautiful statues kind of all the way around the fort, as well as if I jump over here, we can see this little dining hall with this nice little in-room heating space right here. Now this is a stockpile, which I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of this particular stockpile is. I assume it's just to get rid of things that aren't wanted, but it's kind of hard to say. It's like a kind of an odd thing to me. It's like, why is there this stockpile here? Maybe they tried to make a fireplace? I'm not totally sure. But really cool little construction nonetheless. There's little stairs going up here, which goes up to a little mist generator, which is spraying mist around these electrum tables. Very, very fancy, as well as the cool dense grass. It's like a nice greenway area. And this kind of just goes up a few different layers, and then up above is all this power, which is sort of overkill, but is powering this and eventually. So gear, and then powering this. You could actually have connected an axle directly to the bottom here, so you could have used an axle, which I think uses slightly less power, but it's not super necessary. And then all the way around the edge are these beautiful statue walls with engraved galena block floors and hematite, as well as hazel. And also, some people have asked me, how do you make fancy materials into blocks? Well, simply go into your labor screen, go to stone use, and just make sure that they are allowed to be used, and then you can construct stuff out of stone blocks. Now, I've had some people comment about this before, but with bigger fortresses like this, it's not going to be possible for me to hit everything. I will do my damnedest and I will go through as quickly as possible, but there's only so much I'll actually be able to hit, I think. We have these fortifications here that come crashing down, that go all the way up to the top up here, so I'm assuming these are minecart cannons. Up here, this current minecart is not actually filled with anything, but there is a stockpile right here, which I'm assuming I can even click on it. There is a stockpile here which is filled with various different weapons, so I'm assuming that when they're firing that off, did I just turn something off? I did. It's going to be loaded up and be quite an effective little shotgun setup there. Very nice little outdoor shotgun. I do hope it works quite well for you. Then there's all these elves in cages. Strange. Well, anyway, we're now going to move down here and we're going to hit Z again. We're going to check out this office. We also have this little zone in the middle here. Of course, there's this temple. Now, fun fact, if a temple is paused, it pauses the activity of the zone, but not the zone of the temple. So even if a temple here like this is disabled, they can still come here and pray. They just won't use it as a generic meeting zone, which is Dwarf Fortress rules. Up here, there is a dormitory, which is a very nice dormitory, frankly. I love staying in this rainbow room. And then up here, there's a guild hall, not a guild hall, no, it's a herbalist guild hall. Wrong icon. Herbalist guild hall, the autumnal, what was that called? The autumnal lobster, okay. And then a little higher up, we have another guild hall. And up here is a tomb dedicated to the Baron. And then there's this layer. Now, this layer is a bunch of fun. We got a bunch of catapults, and they go along this long walkway. So anything that's, made it past the minecart there then comes up here and walks around and then gets pummeled by boulders, I assume. It's an interesting setup. I've personally never seen a setup like this, and I love the statues of the Gorlaks. Very big shout out to that. Then as we work up here, the Gorlak statues, all the way up to the top where there's even more Gorlak statues. Man, those nice Gorlak statues are almost lifelike in their coloration. Of course, the shotgun. And then here, all of this stuff. Now, we're going to begin flying down through the fortress. So as we move down here, we can see the crazy industry that constructed this fort. You know, it's funny. I always look at forts like this and I get kind of jealous and I go, man, you're building so much cool stuff that I can't do. And I always realize the second I start going underground, it's like, oh, right. It's because I set my materials to sparse. That's why I have a much harder time building these crazy structures. So much brass and other fancy materials everywhere, and orthoclase brass alternating statues, many bedrooms everywhere. Dwarves must be thrilled with this. Everything is just so nice. A little bit further down, more very large bedrooms. So just like zooming in on this for a second, each dwarf has a bookcase, a cabinet, a statue, a weapon rack, a bed, a shale coffer, and a steel armor stand. So, plus they have brass floors. Yeah, these dwarves are ecstatic with their lives. For reference, all you actually need, and people ask me this all the time, is a bed, a cabinet, and a coffer. That's all that you need. They put items that they claim, like crowns and bracelets and rings and necklaces, all of those go into coffers, and their clothing that they don't want to use anymore, as you can see here, goes into the cabinet. So, a lot of these are going to be empty unless they're making a lot of crafts, but that's kind of the way that arc works. As we move down a little further, I love this water location here. Fun fact, if you don't want to see stuff that gets stuck in places, you can hide them. And yeah, I love this water flowing around. It looks so nice. Well done on this little river. Big fan of that. Also, you know, all of these places for dwarves that don't wake up, you know, they live here. I'm sure they'll be fine. And then we go a little further down, more of that, more of the same. Once again, this is just a beautiful fort. All of this, just so over the top and great. Down here we have some heating going on, obviously, which, you know, powers all of these magma smelters and forges there. So your metal industry, as well as more magma smelters, and one final magma forge goes all the way down through here. Of course, it then goes up to here to power a kiln closer to where the materials it's needed are, and then that goes all the way up to there, which, you know, just kind of a neat thing. Anyway, so as we move down, we can then follow this, and where's that central staircase? I had it. It was right in front of me. Oh God, there it is. So there's this little room up here, which I'm not actually sure where the staircase is. I see it. It's right in the middle there. There's a little staircase going down to there for that center room, and then of course the place for the doors to sleep. Up here, there's just more scattered bedrooms around everywhere, so like every piece of industry just has a chaotic little set of bedrooms. I love kind of these organic shapes and layouts. These are just super cool looking. I'm going to have to go through some of this, especially the surface in ASCII, actually, to take a peek at it, because I'll bet you it's really cool looking. And then down here, there's another paused zone. Remember, once again, they'll still use them. More bedrooms scattered around, as well as different shrines to different gods, and then that big old Crafts Dwarfs Hall down here, and we can move down a little further. Even more statues. I love the colors. And areas that have been dug out for materials. We can move down again. More of these beautiful artificial rivers. And of course, that smelter that we pointed at earlier. We can move down a little further. This might be one of my favorite rooms so far that I've seen. And then we're starting to work down into areas that are starting to feel like caverns. This is really cool, once again. A nice big library with 722 books, including copies as well as plenty of writing materials. So that's very good. More statues. I'd love to know the total number of statues, but I'll be honest, I'm scared to click on that stock screen. As we move down through everything, just space, dining halls, dormitories. Really unique, cool-looking fort. Super cool. So many statues. More bedrooms. This is something I've been trying to get better at, is just like spreading my bedrooms out to different places so that you can still see them. Man, we move down more of these little patches with mushrooms growing. I love this kind of like windowed off area here with these mushrooms in between. I'm also kind of worried I'm going to skip something. Here's a barracks with squads training. And eventually, I think this is going to just break into caverns, isn't it? No, man. It just goes all the way down to the bottom there where stuff's just growing. That is super cool. Whoa, okay. We now fall through there. This is where the screw pumps are pumping that lava from. We are now hitting that cavern layer with this beautiful construction. Man, this is sprawling. It just keeps going. So the lava's coming from this partially formed volcano here. And the water's coming from various different places. We keep moving down. Keep moving down. We hit the cavern, the middle cavern layer, it looks like. And then up here, we've got more dining halls and spaces and bedrooms. This looks like, oops. Did I jump down? Yep. This looks like another place for soldiers to be training. Moving down, moving down. Hitting tab once again. We got more dining halls. So many dining halls in this fort. I'm going to unpause it again because I actually haven't unpaused this fort yet, and I want to know what the frames look like. I'm expecting it to be around 18 on my computer. Yeah, 18, 19. That's totally playable. A little bit slow, but totally playable. So for those of you who are spoiler sensitive, now's the time to look away because this is where we are getting into the concern spoiler section of this portion of this video. So from here, you can see there's this big old silver vein right there, or tetrahede right now. Well, it's okay. So silver and copper. And then this cool as heck spot here. All of this microcline around the edge. And I love how you've turned this spire here straight up into like a dining hall, and then here like a temple, the Shrine of Phantoms, and then here is the Cobalt Treasury, which is obviously a library. You can move down, and then there's the Adamantine, which is all detailed, absolutely gorgeous. And then down in the bottom here is the space for hell. Seems like a lot of demons met their match down here. I'm not entirely sure how you went about that, taking out the demons down here, but it seems like they certainly didn't do super hot. My assumption is probably, oh, there's still some alive, a grasshopper fiend. Look at that big guy. Grasshopper fiend. What do you do? If I can ask. Towering eyeless grasshopper. Lacy wings, and it undulates rhythmically. Its slate gray exoskeleton is black and sleek. Beware its webs. That is terrifying, especially considering the fact that it's flying. I'm assuming that unless there is another combat vector here that I'm not seeing. Oh, I see. They also went through at this spot up here. So there's actually two of these. Not just one, there's two. I like the fact that there's moss growing down in here because water's spilt in. Yeah, I'm assuming that they just like positioned ranged squads to just shoot at them, but I could be mistaken. Yeah, no, it seems like they've done quite a good job combating the evils of the depths. Looks like there's a catapult up there, probably just for show. But yeah, this is a cool as heck fort. I'm glad that you updated it to Diphyllum. They actually updated this in the save because it took too long for me to get to it. I realized that uploads for this show have been a little bit less consistent, but it's been kind of a rough month for me mentally. Every other way we've been doing just great, but I've been a little bit down recently, so my output has slowed down. I've just been kind of focusing on things that I really want to create and not necessarily things that I need to be making. So if uploads for this show have been a little slow recently, it's partially just due to me being, well, it's springtime, and I'm not a big fan of this time of year. So I just want to say thank you, though, to everybody who's been watching this show and everybody who's stuck with it as we go along. And as I promised, it is time for us to take a peek at this in ASCII. Let's take a look at this outer wall. Wow, that is something else. Look at that. That is cool. I love all the colors. The colors are beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. With the dwarves just moving about. What a spot. What a beautiful, beautiful place. An absolute mess to look at in some ways, but glorious. I love it. This is fantastic. Thank you very much for sending in this fortress. Once again, if you would like to send in a fortress like this for me to have a look at on this show, you can do that via my Discord. The link is down in the description of this video. If you want to support me and the work I do here directly, you can do that via Patreon or by checking out my streams over at twitch.tv/BLINDIRL. And if you want to do some more, you can check out a piece of merch. I have mugs, I have t-shirts, I have stickers, and other cool things. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.